on, people? Nick J. Francis, I'm gassed. If you couldn't tell already, I am gassed. We are through to the quarterfinal for the first time in like 15 years. Do you know what I'm saying? It's been so long. I don't even remember what this feels like. I was sitting there biting my nails, biting the skin around my nails around that penalty shootout, but we are through. We made it. It was tough. We made it hard for ourselves. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't the best performance. I was predicting 3-1. I thought we were going to smoke these, man. They played very, very well. They had a great game plan, but ultimately, we came out on top, and it's all down to one man in the end. A lot of good players will talk about the game, will break it down, but in the end, it comes down to one man, and that one man is David Raya. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to hear no more debates about Ramsdale versus Raya. The mistake that Ramsdale made against Brentford, mixed with Raya coming back after one game out and having that unbelievable performance in a high pressure situation. Let's be clear, David Raya has come from Brentford. He has not been playing in the Champions League. He has not been playing in league title campaigns. He doesn't have that type of experience at that top level, but still against Porto in the round of 16, able to pull off 2 clean saves and get his hand to a third in a penalty shootout under extreme pressure circumstances. That to me is extremely impressive. Extremely impressive. You know, we had spotty performances across the pitch today. Some people played well, some people played well, some played not so well. But for him to go and do that, given where he's come from, you know, he's gonna make it permanent. Of course, in the summer, we know that already. And you know, this is just yet another reason why. You know, I'm a big fan of Ramsdale, but clearly you can see that having David Raya there just takes us up to a different level, a level just above, let's be honest, where Ramsdale is. Unfortunately, as it is to say, a lot of our fans love him, but you know, that's going to be the talk of the town tonight, is David Raya, the absolute hero. No, make no mistake about it, the hero. It wasn't misses, it wasn't crossbars, it wasn't people slipping on the penalty spot. It was clean cut saves twice, 2 in 4 penalties, and what more can you say? We're through to the quarterfinals, and it will be a big team. You know, we've got Real Madrid in there, we've got Barcelona in there, we've got Bayern Munich in there, and we're ready to mix it up against these teams. And I actually think that we stand a better chance of winning against some of these teams than we do against the Porto. You know, someone like a Porto who's going to sit deep, grind out results. If we go and play a team like a Barcelona who actually come out and try to play more, I think we can play them off the park. I think we're so capable on any given day. You know, I know that that was not the best performance, and people might think I'm delusional for saying that, but I really believe that on any given day, if they kind of step out and play football, we can match them, or we can best some of these teams. On our day, we are a fantastic team, and the experience that this will give this squad, the togetherness you could see after the game that it gives the squad to go through these tough moments together. Of course, we can't keep going through tough moments and not getting trophies at the end, but this squad is really bonding. You know, you look at the 11 that we put out today: Declan Rice, brand new player; David Raya, brand new player. Who else is there? Who else there? Kai Havertz, brand new player. You know, there's 3 or 4 players in this team that are completely new and just acclimatizing themselves to the squad today. In terms of positives of that starting 11, other than David Raya, who obviously was superb, and that's mostly down to the penalty shootout. I thought Havertz was very good today. I thought it was, you know, dirty when he needed to be, tidy when he needed to be. Couple of moments, of course, not a perfect performance, but I thought he was very, very good. Odegaard getting on the ball, trying to make things happen. I thought he was very good. Declan Rice, legs in the midfield for a lot of the game. I thought he was very good. Trossard took his goal well. Thought he could have done maybe a little bit better across the game, but obviously took his goal well, and it's because of him we got into the penalty shootout in the first place. Jakub Kivior again came off late for Zinchenko when we immediately saw what we were losing, and I do think that that's partly down to Zinchenko still coming back a little bit. I'll cut him a little bit of slack because he's been out. But Kivior, I thought, was fantastic today. Gabriel aerially winning everything in the air. You know, a warrior's performance across from Pepe. You know, a legendary centre back, 41 years old, and what a player for anybody to look at. Who you know, a young centre back to look at. 41, looks after himself, and look what he's doing. But I thought Gabriel was just absolutely fantastic today. Ben White, another great performance, and now we rest. Now we take 19 days of rest before we go into Man City, but we can take huge confidence from that performance going into that game. Huge confidence, you know, with players coming back from injury and different things like that. We should be very tactically flexible, but I can't even think about them games. I've just got to think about tonight. Like I say, Champions League quarterfinalists. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. You know, we look forward to the draw. We look forward to what's next. I'm ready for pretty much any challenge that comes our way. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that we will rise to the occasion. I think Saka wasn't the best today. He's got more to show us. I think Gabby Jesus flashes, not the best today. He's got more to show us as well. Eddie Nketiah, I think there's levels. I really still think that there's levels that we can go in this team. And this game today, wow, these are the experience games. It wasn't a clean sweep. It wasn't a 3 or 4 nil like many of us wanted. Everybody wanted, and many of us were predicting. But you know what? We learn so much from these games. The belief of what we can do in these games. Brentford. It took us late to go and get that goal. We don't want every game to be like that, but we know late on we are going to step up. Late on today, we stepped up. I saw a lot of players towards the end of the game. We were really in the ascendancy of just sustaining wave after wave of attacks. That's where we need to be. Ultimately, it came down to penalties, and I think both managers were a little bit. They put on attacking players, but I don't feel like either of them really went for it. I don't think that we gave necessarily the best account of ourselves today, but we're able to grind out a result. And Porto are a very experienced, very tricky team. Regardless of what you think of them, the quality of the league they come from, they're in these positions year on year. They're in the Champions League year on year. They are in the round of 16 and through the knockout stages year on year. They have a lot of European pedigree and a lot of European experience. We can be very proud of knocking them out and the way that we knock them out. Especially from a mentality perspective, we can be so proud of that. I'm just so proud of the team. So proud of the team. I think Arteta made very positive substitutions. Very happy to see that. Like I say, the goals didn't come in open play. They came in the form of penalties, and the penalties that we took, clean penalties. The keeper didn't stand a chance with any of our penalties. Saka, of course, he's our regular penalties taker, so you'd expect that, but he has obviously had traumatic penalty misses on the world stage. Recovers really, really well, comes back bang, and I think he's missed one since then. Regularly scoring penalties. Declan Rice stepping up regularly, stepping up in games, stepped up, scored a penalty today. Kai Havertz, 6 goals, 6 games on the bounce. Scored a penalty for us today. And of course, the captain, Martin Odegaard, taking the first penalty to set the tone. I really think Martin Odegaard's penalty set the tone. Confident, picked his spot, knew what he was going to do. Yes, he does the little shimmy run up, but he knows where he's going to place it. He's so confident. And a couple of them for me, Rice and Odegaard, when they stepped up, those two in particular, I didn't feel any nerves. I didn't feel any anxieties or anything. I thought, okay, these are going in. When it was Havertz, I was a little bit shaky. When it was Saka, I was shaky. And then when the other guys were shooting, Porto guys, I don't know enough about their goal scoring records and their penalties to really feel one way or the other. I just sat back and saw what happened and took it all in. But David Raya, big, strong hands to one save, stronger hands probably could have prevented 3 goals, but he did more than enough. One tapped onto the post, comes back, nearly goes back into the goal, comes off his boots. The other one comprehensively saved. It's like he stared the striker down, knew where he was going, picked his spot and went with it. I think that was such a mature performance, for 120 minutes of game time. Very, very mature performance. Of course, they're going to have little breakaways here. Little things are not going to be so perfect. I think, Saka had the one cut in and shoot, and that caused them problems. I would have liked to see that more. Odegaard playing balls through the channels. That's how we got the goal for Tross. I would have liked to see that more. There were a lot of good things that I wanted to see more of today, but we ground out the result. What more can you ask for? We go to the quarterfinals now, and I think we're still the bookies' third favourites. I just think it's Real Madrid and Man City that are favourites ahead of us, and then us. So we look to the draw. We have to be confident. We may end up playing Manchester City twice in the league and potentially in the Champions League later on. We beat them in the Community Shield at the beginning of the season. We can take huge confidence from that. Of course, we've developed a lot as a team since then, as have they. But we shouldn't be afraid of anybody at this point. We should be confident playing anybody. Of course, we can show some respect, and I do respect Porto for the game they played over 2 legs. The way they played, I think, was fantastic. The way the manager set them up was fantastic. But, we still got through them. We're still through and they're not. And that's for a reason. We have to take positives from that. We have to take confidence from that. And we should really be confident against anybody at all. And we can take a lot of that confidence into the Manchester City game in the league. I know that that's obviously a league game. It's not going to go to penalties, but the Brentford game, grinding out a result, this game, grinding out a result, we are more than capable of doing that against Manchester City at the Etihad. We have to just be confident. We can't go away and drop the ball now. We have to stay on their necks. And you look at the game they played against Liverpool, they weren't very, very convincing. Obviously, it was a draw, but they weren't very convincing. They're not creating so many chances. They have a world-class striker, but they're not creating chances the way that we do. This is our moment. This feels like the stars are aligning for us, and we have to capitalize on it. I genuinely feel this is absolutely our moment. And David Raya, I think, is just going to be so confident after this. He has to be so confident going into the last 10 games plus whatever Champions League games we play. And it's amazing. It's amazing to be back there again. Like I say, I was terrified. I could barely watch. I was shaking. And as soon as we scored that fourth penalty, I just relaxed. I just knew, okay, it's done. So long as we score our penalties, whether they miss, whether we get saves, whatever, I just thought, just keep scoring our penalties. And David Raya, man of the moment, he's got to be man of the match for that. He has to be. Shouts for Trossard, of course. He got the goal to keep us in it, but once you get to penalties, the advantage is always with the attacker. So for David Raya to go and do what he did just now, that's going to be remembered for a long, long time, regardless of what happens next. So, big praise to this team. And we roll, we move, we're ready for anybody.